Now, hopefully you've been keeping up to date with our Facebook videos, or maybe you're signed up to our Sizzix newsletter, because if you have, you've already heard all about our Spring Craft Box. Loads of the other designers have already put up some amazing videos showing you how to make some lovely inspiring makes using the products from our craft box, and I'm obviously going to show you one today as well. I'm not going to run down all the products in the box because hopefully you've seen the other videos, and I believe Pete and Jen have already run through all the products, so I'm just going to show you the ones I use today. But hopefully you're inspired and you can go and check out the website, and fingers crossed it is still in stock and you can get your hands on the Spring Craft Box. So I'm going to be showing you how to make this lovely sort of positive quote floral frame using the main die that comes in the set, which is our bold Flora die. So to start that off, I've cut down just some white cardstock to the size of my frame. The white doesn't come in the set, but if you don't have white cardstock, you could use one of the colours that does come in the set with the card, because there's loads of lovely colours to choose from. So I've got that already pre-cut, and then I'm going to start to work on the middle section, so our quote. Purely because I don't have a printer to hand, I have hand drawn my quote, but on the website, if you go over to the free downloadable page and pop in your email address, you can download some really lovely sentiments and quotes that are already there, and you can print them off all for free. If you are not a fan of calligraphy or you don't like hand drawing, then they're there for you to use alongside the craft box, and that is completely free. So I've already got my sentiment or quote already written out. I've just drawn it out in pencil, and then I've just drawn my circle ready for me to cut out. I just drew around something that was circular in my house, but as part of the set you do get the circle framelits that sit alongside the domes, and these work alongside the domes. That's why they're this particular size that they are. But if one of these sizes worked for your frame, or they worked for the sentiment that you've maybe downloaded and printed off from our website, then you could also use those too. That's what another purpose for those circle framelits. So I've got that there. I'm now going to start to add in some colour to that. So just taking a yellow pencil crayon, I'm just going to start to colour in and add some colour to my sentiment. Now, I haven't really done anything fancy. I'm definitely not a calligraphy expert by any means, but you could definitely give this a go if you didn't have a printer and you couldn't access those sentiments easily. This would be a good way to do it. And I'm just pressing harder on the top and ever so slightly lighter on the bottom to get a really slight, subtle gradient effect. And you could even change up the sentiment as well. So, like I said, the ones online might suit you better, but if they didn't, that's where your hand drawing could come in handy, because you could pick whatever sentiment suits you. And because we're all after a little bit of positivity right now, I've gone for choose happy, because I think that's just nice and lifted in spirits. So I'm now going to take a black fine liner. If you didn't have a fine liner, a black biro pen would work fabulously. And then I'm just going to go around the outline really carefully. Obviously you take a little bit more time than me to make sure it's all perfect. And don't worry if you mess it up a little bit, you can always make some of the lines a little bit thicker. I'm actually trying to to get a lot better at calligraphy and sort of typography. So maybe while we're all stuck at home, you could try and learn some calligraphy as well. And that's where you could even bring the sentiments in. You could trace on top of the sentence that you could download online and use those as sort of templates for you to learn, which would be really helpful. Okay, almost there. We've got our choose now. Pop in our happy. Okay, almost there. I'm trying to be quick with mine, so I may have messed up on a little few areas, but if you just take your time, then this would be really pretty. There we go. So we've got our sentiment all finished, and then I've got the circle. So I'm going to cut out that circle, but before I do, I'm going to stick some of our adhesive sheets onto the back. Now these come in the set as well in the Spring Craft Box, and they're super handy for using instead of glue, and particularly when we come to do the die cuts, they'll come in really useful with that more intricate design. But I'm going to be lazy and use it for my circle, so I'm just going to cut it to the rough size and peel off the top layer. There we go. So you want to peel off the layer that has the writing on. So you peel that off, you don't need that anymore, and then stick it to the back. So I'm going to stick it right here, and then I'm going to cut my circle out. So now I've got that adhesive sheet on the back. Once I cut this out and go to stick it on my white background, I can peel that off, and I don't have to mess around with any glue or anything like that. We know how temperamental some of the glue can be and how messy it can get, so these adhesive sheets just take all that mess away. So just cut that out. Like I said, you could use the circle framelits that come in the box if they're the right size, but if not, just cutting it is absolutely fine. So we've got the middle section. So I'm actually going to stick that down, I think, so in the middle, so that's, you can see the adhesive sheet is on the back, and then you literally just pop your nails in. If you don't have nails, if you've got a pair of our tweezers or any tweezers that you have at home, works great to sort of get in there and peel that off. So there we go, peel that off. Pop that there. So right, so we have our base. I'm now going to do the fun part, which is the florals. Again, I think I'm going to use some of our adhesive sheets just to stick on the back, particularly the yellow, which is the limoncello colour from the selected card that comes in your pack, because I want to make sure that the centres that I'm cutting with the yellow are really secure. So I'm going to be using my express machine, so I'm going to take that on there, and then the centre elements, I'm going to take all of the middle little bits and pop those there, and I'm going to cut that, and then I'm also going to just pop that there and cut some of these just to show you a few more of the elements cut. So there we go, I'm going to sandwich that and then pop that through, make sure it's all lined up, pop that through the express machine. You could use any machine, I'm just being lazy today. And using the Express. But it doesn't particularly matter what machine you use, they all work just as well. So there we go. We have those little centre elements and the flower element. I didn't line that up perfectly, so luckily I've got some others cut already. And have those ready to go. And they've already got the adhesive on the back, like so. So it's going to be super easy when I come to stick everything together. Okay, so I'm going to make up the larger flower first, and then we're going to start to arrange it all. So for these ones, I haven't put the adhesive sheets on the back because I'm going to sort of. If you had it, use our sculpting kit, our paper sculpting kit, which has these balls on the end, and you rub it around and sculpt it that way. But if you don't have those, it's absolutely fine. You can just sort of bend the petals ever so slightly. It doesn't give quite the same effect because you kind of have to be careful that you're not bending the petals in half. But I will show you what the other one with the sculpting kit. So, and it just better curve without creasing anything. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to stick those together and start to layer up those. Now, I'm going to use some of our express glue. Glue will do. Just popping that in the middle. I love our express glue because it dries super quickly. But honestly, whatever you have. And then because I've actually already got the adhesive sheet on my centre, on the limoncello part, I'm just going to peel that off and pop that in the middle. There we go. Oh, okay, so we've got that flower there. I've already actually pieced together several of my other flowers, doing the same kind of thing. But it's completely up to you. Layer them up and arrange them. Yeah, okay. So, I'm just going to pop that one there. I've also got the from the green tea cardstock that comes in the pack. I have quickly laid out all the cardstock actually, so you can kind of see the lovely colours and how they all work beautifully together. So I've used obviously mostly the pinks, so the primrose and the cherry blossom, but if you wanted to use some of the lavender or the mint, it's completely up to you. And I love those spring sort of pastel shades, it just works really lovely all together. I'm going to start to layer that up. So these leaf sections, I've already put adhesive sheets on the back, and I'm trying to match the ones that I've already got there. So wait, no, it's in the wrong place. That's a good thing with the adhesive sheets as well, because you can kind of pick them up before you press it down too roughly, and then it's doesn't leave a mark, whereas glue would. One of these. Hopefully you've got better patience than me. arranging the flowers in that section. Again, peeling the adhesive sheet off, it just makes it so much neater and so easy to layer up and stick down. Now this one is, because it's raised, I haven't put adhesive sheets on that, so I'm just going to put a tiny little glue on there and pop that one there. Okay, now to finish this little section off, I'm going to bring in some of our sequins. So we get two colours in our in the craft box of our sequin and beads. We get the cherry blossom and the green tea. Today I'm going to use the cherry blossom because I'm actually going to use these as little sort of flower buds. So using some of the sort of more matte sequins, I want to get to these really tiny little ones. I'm going to start to dab some glue and actually use them on these sections. So I'm just going to now I could also, wherever they've gone, might use my tweezers for this as well. So if you do have these tweezers in your collection, or any kind of tweezers, these really come in handy when it comes to working with that really fiddly stuff. Okay, I've got two more to go. And just be careful when you're doing the glue onto your project. You don't want it to overspill and ruin everything. So just take your time. Okay, so there we go. And how pretty does that look? Like, it look like really little flowers, but just saves you the hassle of cutting out those little tiny circles and using those sequins instead. I'm also going to just add a finishing touch to one of the flowers there, just using so again, I'm going to do exactly the same thing, just really carefully, lob of glue in the centre and using my tweezers. Okay, I'm only going to show you that section, otherwise and it's playing around with the bottom and hopefully you get the idea that you in the end will get a lovely floral frame that I think would look beautiful in anyone's home with that sentiment and, like I say, the lovely colours that you get in that cardstock set in the craft box. You could really play around with what works best for you. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video today. Make sure to come back tomorrow because I believe you will see Alexis showing us some lovely makes using the products from the Sizzix Craft Box. And keep checking back because we've got loads of videos coming, loads of inspiration to show you. Make sure you check out the website for that craft box if it's still available. And stay safe, guys. Keep crafting, and I'll